A new pay transparency law is now in effect in New York City. Employers are now required to include the minimum and maximum pay in every job listing, from minimum wages to the seven-figure finance and tech jobs. Analysis from Jonathan Bell, employment attorney in New York. John, explain it.
So the basics of the law is now when an employer wants to post a job listing, they have to include the minimum and maximum amount of pay, whether it be an hourly or salary basis. And this is strictly for right now in New York City for employers who have 4 or more employees. Now, mind you, this eventually could be statewide because the New York State Legislature did pass it in June of 2022, and it's awaiting Governor Hochul's signature. But the law that takes effect is strictly New York City based. Now, what makes it interesting, Gordon, as you know, is a lot of employers now advertise for people to work from home. So the question really remains is, well, if you're advertising in New York City, even though the employer might be listed outside of New York City, is there a requirement there? And the research that I've done so far shows that there is. The whole point of this law is to close gender and racial disparity gaps. So they feel like if it's posted, they'll be less inclined to pay women or certain races less than a white male gets in a job offer. So there's a lot going on. I mean, the employers, some of the employers are saying that it's overreaching, government overreaching, and it's not necessarily fair, that they shouldn't be getting involved in it. But this is a law in New York City, and it's similar to other states, too, that pass this law in California, Colorado, Connecticut, Maryland, Nevada, Rhode Island, and Washington State.
We're speaking with Jonathan Bell, employment attorney in New York. He's at belllg.com. We're talking about this new pay transparency law that took effect November 1 in New York City. What about penalties for violators here?
So the good news is that this law allows for a 30-day notice period. So if an employer violates it and they get served with a notice, they have 30 days to correct it. So it's not an immediate penalty. But there are penalties per violation after that, and fines might go up to as much as $250,000.
What does this mean, John, in your opinion, for the job market more broadly, if more cities and states begin to enact laws like this?
Well, I generally think it's a good idea. I think it saves prospective employees' time and employers' time, because without these salary requirements, sometimes you're applying for jobs that when you find out what the salary is, you've already invested some time in something that you might have wanted to skip. It probably will make for some uncomfortable conversation in the office. For example, if you're holding a particular job and you see they're hiring someone else, there's an open position available, and you notice that you're towards the bottom of the salary range, that might make you upset and cause you to leave or at least renegotiate your salary. And also other states that generally the employees don't get paid because of the cost of living as much as New York City, might cause some waves out there as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what happens, right? I'm a worker in Ames, Iowa, and I see a job posting in New York City that's for a range that's way above what I'm earning in that part of the Midwest. What do I do?
Sure. It's like I said, it's going to cause some hurt feelings, and that person might look for other opportunities or might go to their employer and try to renegotiate the salary. But at the end of the day, they're just trying to avoid this pay disparity mostly between men and women and some minorities as well.
The cynic in me, to play devil's advocate here, says the government can't even manage its own business. Why do we want the government making laws about private business?
Sure. This is one of a multitude of laws that they've made. So this is not that shocking, especially in New York City. And like I said, it's already been deployed in other states as well.
Thanks, John. Jonathan Bell, employment attorney in New York. By the way, some of the ranges posted so far have been so wide, it's hard to tell how much you'd earn. For example, a tax senior at Deloitte gets paid between $86,000 and $161,000. The Wall Street Journal advertised an executive producer role for between $50,000 and $180,000.